After we nearly broke up for the 11th time, my fiancée, Isabella, decided to take wedding photos with her first love over the 4th of July break. She posted them on Facebook, clearly just to spite me. I quietly liked the post, but she assumed I was jealous and blew up my phone with a dozen accusatory messages. I was just helping him promote his new photo studio by modeling, and you actually took it seriously? What did I tell you? You're so petty and insecure. You overthink things and then start drama. Even though Jake is willing to forgive you, you have to apologize to him. Otherwise, you can have next month's wedding by yourself. She was gloating, completely unaware that I had already canceled the wedding. Late that night, Isabella stumbled in, reeking of alcohol. "Davis, I'm home. Come help me with my shoes." She kicked off her high heels, expecting me to hand her a pair of slippers. I glanced over without even looking up and went back to my game. She padded barefoot into the living room and slammed her purse down on the coffee table in front of me. "You're actually playing a video game? I thought you were dead. Why didn't you answer my message? Everyone was waiting at the restaurant for you to come and apologize. But no, you stood me up for some stupid game, and I got stuck drinking way too much." I replied coolly without looking away from my tablet. "Oh, my phone was charging. I didn't see it." Isabella shook her woozy head, scanning the room until she spotted my phone, face down and plugged in on a table across the room. She raised an eyebrow and flopped onto the couch, rubbing her temples. "Go make me something to sober me up. My head is killing me." I didn't move. "I'm in the middle of a raid. I am Busa. Just order something yourself." Isabella's voice shot up, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. "Davis, you're doing this on purpose. You're still mad about the wedding photos with Jake, aren't you? I already explained everything. What more do you want from me?" Her explanation was just her side of the story. I was too tired to argue, so I just said, "I'm not mad. You're overthinking it." Hearing that, Isabella shot me a disdainful look, pulled out her phone, and shoved her iMessage history in my face. "Aren't you the one who's always overthinking things? Look, he really did ask me for a favor. My best friend, Chloe, was there too. You can call her if you don't believe me." I didn't even glance at the screen, just nodded. Yeah, I know. Isabella always said Jake was just her guy best friend, that they were completely platonic and there was nothing going on. But when we were on a date to the movies, she'd be on the phone with him for hours. We'd be lying in bed, back to back, and I'd hear her giggling at his texts. Whenever we ate, he was the first person she'd send a picture of her food to, and she'd give him constant updates on her daily schedule. And as her actual boyfriend, every time I got fed up with this stuff and tried to end things, she would just throw a mountain of evidence in my face and call me disgusting and dirty-minded. This time was no different. She took those romantic wedding photos with Jake, the look of adoration in her eyes, so thick you could cut it with a knife, and she still had the nerve to claim they were just friends. She even tried to flip it around and force me to apologize to both of them. I was just so done with this life. The match ended. I'd lost all interest in playing. I put my tablet away, unplugged my phone, and got ready for bed. Isabella watched my every move. When she saw I wasn't heading to the master bedroom, she paused, then said with the air of someone granting a great favor, "The bed in the guest room is too hard. You can sleep in here tonight." I wave her off. "No thanks, I've got work in the morning." Isabella seemed taken aback by my different attitude, but then a thought seemed to occur to her, and she relaxed, raising an eyebrow. "It's fine. I could put up with your snoring for one night." Her arrogant tone left me speechless. Every time we fought over Jake, she'd kick me out to the guest room, claiming I snored too loudly. The thing is, I don't snore, but she'd always insist I was just asleep and didn't know it. I even recorded myself sleeping one night to prove it, but she was still stubborn, claiming a snore-free night was a fluke. In the past, I would have argued the point, but now I didn't care what she thought. I just walked into the guest room and shut the door. Isabella stomped her foot in frustration. "Davis, if you don't come back to this room tonight, you can stay out for good." With that, she slammed her bedroom door shut. Usually, when she threw a tantrum and locked herself in her room, I'd go out and buy her favorite takeout, then knock gently on the door and coax her until she calmed down. This time, I just rolled over and went to sleep. A few minutes later, Isabella angrily threw her door open again. She started banging pots and pans around, pretending to cook, then started vacuuming in the middle of the night. She was just making noise, trying to get me to come out and comfort her. But I didn't move. I slept soundly. When I got up the next morning, the apartment was a complete disaster, with stuff thrown everywhere. I ignored it and just made breakfast for myself. Isabella finally dragged herself out of bed, sporting huge dark circles under her eyes, just as I was finishing up. She sat down at the table ready to eat, only to find nothing but my empty plate. Furious, Isabella snatched my car keys off the counter and stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I didn't let it bother me. I just grabbed my backpack and headed for the L station. When I got to the office, my manager called me into his office. He told me there was a transfer opportunity available, but it was for a position in a city far away. I accepted on the spot, without a moment's hesitation. My manager had just been floating the idea, clearly not expecting me to say yes. Aren't you getting married next month? Don't you need to talk about a relocation with Isabella? I shook my head. The wedding's off. I think I'm better off single. We worked at the same company in Chicago, just in different departments. Everyone knew I was completely whipped, that I put my fiancé first in everything. My manager patted me on the shoulder. Glad you finally see the light. Get your projects handed off. We want you in Denver as soon as possible. I nodded. The moment I closed his office door, my phone rang. It was Isabella. Her voice was cold and flat, like she was giving an order she wouldn't take no for. Davis, I got rear-ended. You need to come deal with this. We've been together for years, and she had a habit of calling me to fix any problem she had, no matter where I was or what I was doing. Once, she was out to dinner with Jake when some drunk guy started a fight and smashed her work laptop. The second she called, I dropped everything at work and rushed over. I was about to get into a fight, trying to get the guy to pay for the damages, but right when things were getting settled, Jake stepped in to play the peacemaker. Hey, let's be the bigger person here, Davis, he said. Life's tough for everyone. We should cut the guy some slack. No need to make a big deal out of his mistake. Isabella calmly took a sip of her water, then stood up and looked at me with pure disappointment. That's enough, Davis. The laptop wasn't that expensive. Stop being so aggressive. It was an accident. Everyone around them praised them for being so calm and reasonable, saying what a great couple they made. Meanwhile, I was the crazy one. I was busy booking my flight to Denver, so I just gave her a dismissive answer. Call your insurance company or look it up on TikTok. If all else fails, I'm sure your amazing guy best friend can help you out. I could hear her laying on the horn in frustration. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? You say you're not mad, but you're just waiting to get back at me for this. I don't want to get into it. I'm really busy, Isabella. She didn't believe me, of course, and just scoffed. You think I don't know exactly what you're thinking? I've told you a million times we're just friends. If you choose to make it into something more, what am I supposed to do? Then I heard Jake's voice in the background, putting on a show of defending me. He's just a straight shooter, Isabella. Don't be mad. I'll talk to him and clear things up. I can already hear the condescending, you've got it all wrong, and you're just being sensitive lecture coming, so I just hung up. I'm 3 years older than her, and because of that, I took care of everything in her life. I did the housework, the laundry, and I handled all the bills and errands myself. It's no exaggeration to say that while most people call their mom when they're in trouble, she called me. All our friends told her how lucky she was to have a boyfriend like me, but she complained that I was controlling and overbearing, that I never gave her a chance to grow up. She said she preferred Jake because he made her feel needed. Fine, I thought. Then they could just rely on each other from now on. Isabella kept calling me over and over, so I just silenced my phone and focused on my work handover. My coworkers insisted on throwing me a farewell party the next evening, and I couldn't really say no. I was in a good mood, so I picked up a couple of beers on the way home, sipping one as I walked. When I got back to the apartment, it was just as messy as I'd left it that morning. Isabella had taken the day off work, but apparently hadn't lifted a finger to tidy up. She smelled the beer on my breath and waved her hand in front of her face. Why are you home so late? Were you out drinking just to avoid coming home and doing chores? What a joke. I was the one who did all the housework, no matter how late I worked. How dare she say that to me? I ignored her, took off my shoes, and walked past. When she realized I wasn't going to respond, she sulked for a minute before launching another attack. Why didn't you come when I told you I was in an accident? It's your fault. Anyway, if you hadn't pissed me off last night, I would have slept better and it never would have happened. I just said flatly, I was busy with work. Isabella rolled her eyes, her voice dripping with impatience. Stop making excuses. You used to drop everything and come running, no matter how busy you were. I knew it. You're still pissed off about the wedding photos. I already told you what happened. It was just a favor for a friend. Just because you don't have any friends doesn't mean I have to cut off all of mine. Why can't you be more like Jake and get over your toxic masculinity? Jake completely understands that I'm just a kind-hearted person who likes to help people. She went on, but I tuned most of it out. I just told her I had a headache and was going to take a shower and go to bed. She must have seen I looked pale because for once, she actually dropped it. I came out of the bathroom, toweling my hair dry. On the table was a glass of water and a bottle of Advil. Was Isabella actually concerned about me? Or was she just trying to poison me? Just then, her phone rang and she put it on speaker. It was Jake, his voice a pathetic whine. Isabella, I drank too much and my head is killing me. Can you bring me some Advil? The color drained from Isabella's face as she snapped at him. Are you crazy? You can't take painkillers like Advil when you've been drinking. Don't you dare take anything. Just wait there, I'm on my way. She grabbed her purse and rushed for the door, nearly running into me. She shot me an awkward glance. You said you had a headache, right? Take the pills and get some rest. I have to run an errand. As the door clicked shut behind her, I just stood there speechless. So she knew perfectly well you shouldn't mix alcohol and painkillers. She just didn't care if it was me. I shook it off. My colleague, Mark, texted to say he'd booked a table for my farewell dinner. I was texting with my coworkers when a video popped up from Isabella's best friend, Chloe. It showed Isabella bustling around, taking care of a very drunk Jake, at one point even cupping her hands to catch his vomit. A moment later, a text from Chloe followed with an awkward face emoji. Oops, wrong person. I knew the drill. This was one of Isabella's favorite games, designed to make me jealous and come running to apologize. Only this time, she made a serious miscalculation. I just rolled over, ignored the message, and fell into a deep sleep. I didn't wake up until noon the next day. Isabella never came home. I finished packing my boxes and arranged for them to be shipped to Denver. Just as I finished, my phone rang. It was Jake. Hey, Davis, man. I'm so sorry about last night. Isabella ended up taking care of me all night. Let me take you out to dinner tonight. I want to clear the air. Don't bother, I said and hung up. It was almost time, so I grabbed my backpack and headed out to meet my colleagues. As soon as I walked into the restaurant, I saw them, Isabella and her whole group of friends, sitting at a big table right by the door. Isabella and Jake were in the middle of a celebratory shot, their arms linked. Chloe and the other girls were cheering them on. Isabella, you should just dump Davis and get with Jake already. Yeah, Davis is so selfish and cold. He's always got that grim look on his face. So boring. You're so much happier when you're with Jake. I recognized all the girls who were cheering. When I was first trying to win Isabella over, I'd spent 3 months buying them coffee and pastries every single day. After Isabella and I got together, she insisted that her friends should share in her good fortune. That meant for every holiday, I had to buy gifts not just for her, but for every single one of her friends. I always bought them expensive things, trying to get on their good side, and in the end, they still looked down on me. Isabella paused for a moment, looking hesitant. I know Davis has a lot of flaws, but we've been together for so long. I'm not ready to just throw it all away. Just give me a little more time. Her friends looked disgusted and immediately started talking trash about me. Not only did Isabella not stop them, she joined right in, making up her own stories. It was no wonder they couldn't stand me. They never really hung out with me, so everything they knew about me came straight from Isabella. She was constantly painting me as the villain. Of course, they didn't have a good impression of me. Suddenly, a hand clapped me on the shoulder. Davis, why are you just standing here? Isabella, who had been laughing just a second before, froze. Her friends all sat down awkwardly, though the looks they gave me were still filled with contempt. Isabella looked at me, a flicker of unease in her eyes. Just then, Jake stepped up, lacing his fingers through Isabella's. He said with a smirk, "We invite you to dinner, and you don't show, but you'll follow her here? Don't you trust her?" Isabella's face went cold. She put on a show of being angry. Well, you heard what you wanted to hear. Are you happy now? She did, however, pull her hand away from Jake's, creating a bit of space between them. Chloe took the hint and jumped in immediately. Davis, we knew you were here the whole time. We were just messing with you. The other girls chimed in. Yeah, why do you look so serious? No wonder Isabella gets tired of you. You can't even take a joke. I just scoffed, ready to ignore them and walk away, but my colleague, Mark, who had come up behind me, couldn't hold back. He wasn't following anyone. Davis got a promotion and is transferring. We're here for his farewell party. Isabella, who had been so aloof a moment ago, shot to her feet, her eyes wide with panic. What are you talking about? Why don't I know anything about this? I was about to explain that she'd been out of the office the day it was announced, but Jake cut me off with a dramatic sigh. It must be because you took care of me last night. He's angry. It's okay, Isabella. For the sake of your happiness, maybe we should stop being friends. Before Isabella could even respond, her friends were on their feet. Davis, you're unbelievable. Does Isabella have to give up all her male friends just because she's with you? We were all there last night. Nothing happened. Isabella was right. You're just a jealous person. Chloe raised an eyebrow at me. You saw the video yesterday, didn't you? Jake was completely wasted. What do you think he was capable of doing? Isabella turned to Chloe, nervously asking what video she was talking about. Chloe casually explained and pulled it up on her phone for Isabella to see. See? It was nothing. Isabella shot Chloe a dirty look, then turned to me, desperate to explain. I was just worried he'd take the wrong medicine. That's the only reason I went over. If this is what this is about, I promise I'll come straight home from work every day from now on. You should turn down the transfer. We're about to get married, and a long-distance relationship will ruin us. Whatever this is, let's just go home and talk about it in private. As she spoke, she reached out and tried to grab my backpack off my shoulder. I sidestepped her, my voice cold. I've already shipped all my things. There's nothing to talk about. I'm having this one last meal with my friends, and then I'm leaving. And by the way, there's one thing I need to make clear. I canceled the wedding. We're over. Isabella stared at me for a second, then a look of realization crossed her face. She raised an eyebrow and stepped in front of me, blocking my path. Are you trying to pick another fight and threaten to break up? Can't you just talk things through like an adult? Is it fun for you, a grown man, to always use breaking up as a weapon? Her voice was full of exasperation, her face a mask of wounded innocence. If you didn't know the backstory, you'd think I was the one being completely unreasonable. I ignored the stares from the other diners and started walking toward the private room where my colleagues were waiting. She thought I was just throwing a tantrum, but every time I'd said it, I had been serious. The first time was when I caught her and Jake giving each other kisses on the cheek. When I confronted her, she just looked at me with disdain. It's a European greeting. Don't make a scene just because you're uncultured. The second time, they were wearing matching outfits, which she insisted were friend outfits, and that I was being paranoid. The third time, I found out she'd used my money to buy Jake a new phone, and instead of being sorry, she got angry at me. You buy gifts for all my girlfriends, so why not for Jake? Are you prejudiced against him or something? He's my guy best friend. If you're not going to buy him gifts, then I'll just have to do it myself. It happened again and again after that, each time worse than the last. Whenever I got upset about how close she was with Jake, she would look down on me and accuse me of being immature and insecure. Her friends would always back her up, calling me old-fashioned and telling me I couldn't keep up with her progressive ideas. For a while, I actually started to believe them. I tried to break up, fail, and end up being the one who had to apologize. But it was the same story every single time, and I was exhausted, constantly drained. The day I made the final decision to leave, it felt like a weight had been lifted. I could breathe again. I started sleeping through the night. I was halfway into the private room when Isabella rushed forward and grabbed my arm. Please, Davis, I'm begging you. Let's just stop fighting, okay? Chloe put her hands on her hips and sneered. Who do you think you are? Isabella should be the one dumping you. Don't you know how antisocial you are? It's no wonder you're an orphan and nobody wants you. If our beautiful, kind-hearted Isabella hadn't taken you in, would you even have a home? My colleagues, who were just inside the room, stood up in shock. Other diners were staring. I yanked my arm out of Isabella's grasp. I had told her, and only her, that I was effectively an orphan. My biological parents had abandoned me, and my childhood was miserable. I'd always just wanted to be loved. That's why I was so stupid, why I could never tell if Isabella's hot and cold behavior was love or just her using me. But I never, ever imagined she would take the most painful part of my life and turn it into a joke to share with her friends. The girl who had once comforted me, the girl who had made me fall so deeply in love, had after 7 years become the one twisting a knife in my heart. Seeing the look on my face, Isabella shot Chloe a furious glare before turning back to me with an awkward explanation. Davis, don't get the wrong idea. I only told them so they could understand why you're the way you are. I didn't mean anything by it, but Chloe wasn't having it. Isabella, you're too nice. Why are you wasting your breath on a guy like him? Just break up with him. You have guys lining up for you from here to Europe. You'd be so much better off without Davis. Jake wiped the smug look from his face and went back to playing the good guy, stepping in to mediate. Chloe, that's enough. Davis is just feeling a little jealous. He'll be fine once he calms down. If you keep stirring the pot, you're going to cause a real breakup. A look of understanding dawned on Isabella's face. For once, she actually conceded. Davis, okay, I'll apologize. I'm sorry. My face was a blank mask. I'm not angry. Now, please move. I just want to have dinner. She rolled her eyes, her patience gone. Fine. I'll keep my distance from every man on the planet. I won't even talk to my own father. There. Are you happy now? Can you stop being such a baby? I just shook my head, speechless, and pushed past her. Davis, what do you want from me? Do I have to get on my knees and beg for your forgiveness before you'll let this go? Her voice cracked with emotion, and she actually started to bend her knees. Chloe immediately rushed to stop her. What are you apologizing for? Let the trash take itself out. Who else is going to put up with his awful personality if you don't? Isabella grabbed my hand, her grip like a vice. No, Davis, we promised we'd be together forever. If something is bothering you, just tell me. Please stop sulking. She was clutching my shirt so tightly her knuckles were white. I pried her fingers off one by one and looked her straight in the eye. Let go, Isabella. I'm not sulking. My train leaves tonight. I'm having this last dinner with my coworkers, and then I'm gone. You should change the locks on the apartment. The rent is all on you now. I've already spoken to the landlord. Isabella finally seemed to understand that I was serious. Her eyes welled up with tears, and her grip on me tightened. Davis, you said you were going to marry me. You promised you'd take care of me forever. Back then, I really believed we would make it. But after 7 years, her parents still hadn't approved of our marriage. They'd always had a problem with me. I thought my love for her would be enough to get us through anything. But even Isabella's own attitude toward me grew colder with each passing year. The truth is, our relationship was broken a long time ago. I was just the one desperately trying to pretend it wasn't. And now, none of it mattered anymore. I said calmly, I was young and foolish then. Just pretend I never said it. You don't want our home anymore? She cried, fat tears splashing onto the floor. In the past, her tears would have broken my heart. I would have wiped them away and taken the blame for everything. But now, I felt nothing at all, just hungry. Jake put on a somber face and stepped between us. Isabella really loves you, Davis. You shouldn't treat her this way. If my being here is causing problems for you too, then I'll be the one to leave. This was his signature move. He said it every time Isabella and I fought, and afterward, instead of backing off, he'd only get worse. I used to hate it, but now I just wished he'd get it over with and take her off my hands. But Isabella, who always, without fail, took his side, said nothing. The whole group looked disappointed. The color drained from Jake's face. Chloe couldn't take it anymore and rushed to Isabella's side. Isabella, don't fall for his tricks. He's just doing all this to manipulate you into getting rid of Jake. She shot me a look of pure disgust. You're such a drama queen. Mark had been standing quietly on the sidelines, but he'd finally had enough. That's enough, Isabella. Can you just stop? For years, you've held his career back. Now he finally has a chance to move up, and you're trying to stop him. Do you just not want to see him succeed? Isabella's face tightened. What's that supposed to mean? Mark scoffed. It means for everything, from work problems to personal drama. You call him, and every single time he has to take time off work to come rescue you. I'm not even talking about the big stuff. You once made him leave work just because your food delivery driver wouldn't bring the order up to the apartment. He was taking time off every other day. If he wasn't so damn good at his job, he would have been fired years ago. But it still pissed off our old boss, who passed him over for a promotion for 3 straight years. He only got this transfer because our new director recognized his talent. Mark looked like he was about to say more, but I pulled on his sleeve. It's fine, Mark. There's nothing more to say. We're here to have a good time. Let's not let them ruin it. My time was limited, and I didn't want to waste another second on this. Chloe snorted. Isn't being on call 24/7 what a boyfriend is for? What's the point of having one otherwise? Davis has so many issues. He's not good enough for our Isabella anyway. Why are you bringing up all this petty stuff? Isabella's expression changed, and she yelled, Chloe, shut up. Davis is not that bad. While they were arguing amongst themselves, I pushed Mark into our private room and shut the door. It was quiet outside for a moment. Then I heard Isabella start to cry. A chorus of voices rushed to comfort her, and after a few minutes of muffled conversation, I heard them all leave. My colleagues were all looking at me awkwardly, carefully avoiding the topic of what just happened. They raised their glasses and toasted to my future success. I downed my drink in one go, thanking them for their good wishes. After we finished eating, I shouldered my backpack and got ready to head to Union Station. When I opened the door, Isabella was standing there, waiting quietly. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, looking nervous. Davis, are you really leaving? I wanted to give you a ride to the station. No thanks, already called an Uber, I said, waving her off. She clutched her car keys, her face crumbling. Please, just let me drive you. After all these years, let me do this one last thing. Chloe stepped forward, her face grim. What's the problem? Isabella specifically avoided drinking tonight, just so she could drive you. I raised an eyebrow. I didn't believe a word of it, really, because when I got here, she was linking arms for a shot with Jake. The atmosphere immediately turned awkward again. Isabella looked away, flustered. You're reading too much into it. I lost the game, and that was the dare. The other girls' eyes lit up as they rushed to agree. Yeah, that's right. It was just a dare. She completely missed my point. I couldn't care less who she drank with. I just didn't want her driving me anywhere after she'd been drinking. I quietly confirmed my Uber ride and started walking toward the street to wait. Isabella frantically grabbed her phone off the table to follow me. But a drunk Jake looked up from his seat. Isabella, that's my phone. On the table were 2 identical phones, right down to the case and a lock screen wallpaper. They were obviously a matching set. I remembered asking Isabella once if she wanted to get matching phone cases, but she just called me cheesy and said nobody did that anymore. And yet here she was, matching with Jake. Isabella looked at me, embarrassed, as she swapped the phones. Don't get the wrong idea. It's just a best friend thing. Funny, I hadn't noticed Chloe or any of her other best friends with a matching phone. I didn't say a word. I just turned and walked away because none of it mattered anymore. Isabella hurried after me, frantically digging through her purse for her keys. Davis, I made up my mind. I'll quit my job. I'm coming with you. We can move to a new city and start over. Chicago was her whole world. Her family was here, all her friends. I never imagined she would offer to leave it all behind for me. If she had said this to me a week ago, I would have been ecstatic. But it was too late. Now, the mood of her friends shifted instantly. Jake suddenly seemed a lot less drunk. Isabella, are you serious? You're not even going to talk to your parents about something this big. Shut up, Jake, Isabella snapped. This is my decision, so stay out of it. Seeing he wasn't getting through to her, Jake turned his attention to me. Davis, Isabella is so good to you. Are you really going to let her move to a new city where she has no family and no friends? I held up a hand. Whatever you two decide to do, leave me out of it. Isabella, we're broken up. Following me won't change that. Isabella seemed shocked by my finality. Davis, we've been together for 7 years, she said, her voice pleading. Are you really just going to throw that all away? After everything we've been through, you could just walk away? I didn't want to drag this out, but it was clear I wasn't going anywhere until I did. I looked at her, my voice flat and cold. Stop the act, Isabella. You had no idea I was coming to this restaurant tonight. What you said to your friends, that's how you really feel. I don't want to rehash everything, but don't take me for a fool. Let's just end this cleanly. Stop clinging to me. Isabella stared at the ground, her whole body shaking. In all our years together, I had never spoken to her so harshly. I could see the shame and hurt on her face, but I felt nothing. Davis, I'll see you out, Jake slurred, staggering to his feet. He immediately tripped over a chair leg and went down hard. Isabella gasped and rushed to his side, full of concern. She looked up and saw me walking away. With a determined look, she left Jake with her friends. Davis, wait. I'll take you to the station. Jake, who was clearly not used to being ignored by her, looked instantly furious. A grown man with nothing more than a scraped knee was lying on the floor, moaning in pain. Isabella froze, looking from him to me, completely torn. I said calmly, you should probably take him to the hospital. I could get a ride myself. Jake made a grand, dismissive gesture from the floor. No, Isabella, don't worry about me. My leg might be broken, but it's nothing. You'll regret it forever if you don't see him off. This little scratch is nothing compared to your relationship. Isabella looked at him, her eyes filling with tears of gratitude. She squeezed his hand, then looked at me. He's hurt. I have to take him to the hospital. But you wait for me. I'll be back as fast as I can to take you. Promise you'll wait for me. I didn't answer. I just said goodbye to my friends and walked to the corner to wait for my Uber. A minute later, Isabella's car sped past with Jake in the passenger seat. The window rolled down, and Jake shot me a triumphant wink. Mark came up beside me and clicked his tongue. Wow, what a performance. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I'd never believe what a bunch of drama queens they are. Seriously, they're amazing actors. A cold smile touched my lips. You get tired of a show after you've seen it enough times. He offered me a cigarette. So what's the plan now? I took it and lit it. I'm settling in Denver. I'm not coming back. Mark looked like he wanted to say something comforting, but he thought better of it. All right, man, do well out there. I'll come visit you on the next long weekend. I'll be waiting. My Uber pulled up. I said goodbye to Mark and got in. I'd only been resting my eyes for a few minutes when my phone started buzzing nonstop. It was Isabella. Davis, you said you'd wait for me at the restaurant. Where are you? I watched the city lights blur past the window. I'm already at the station, I said. I could hear her start to cry. You're a liar. You're just trying to avoid me. I didn't want to hear any more of it, so I hung up. She immediately called back. This time, I blocked her number. Then, just to be thorough, I blocked her on every app one could think of. There would be no more contact between us. And for the first time in a long time, the world was quiet. The driver glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Got a clingy girlfriend? You sure you want to leave someone like that behind? I just smiled and didn't explain. Isabella was clingy. That was true, but only with Jake. She was the kind of clingy that would take the train all the way across town on her short lunch break just to eat with him. The kind of clingy that would drive 6 hours in a rainstorm just to surprise him with a birthday present. With me, all I ever got were endless problems to solve and endless criticism. Her desperate struggle now, I didn't think it was love. I think she was just used to everything I did for her and couldn't stand the thought of losing her personal workhorse. The driver kept talking the whole way to the station. I didn't say a word, just closed my eyes and rested. The driver woke me when we got to the station. I grabbed my backpack, went inside, and found a seat in the waiting area. Davis, I heard her shout. It was Isabella, her face flushed and sweaty, frantically scanning the crowd. The station was huge, but she was yelling my name at the top of her lungs, stopping people to ask if they'd seen me. I acted like I didn't hear a thing. She finally spotted me just as I was getting my ticket scanned to go to the platform. She tried to push past the gate without a ticket, but an attendant stopped her. Davis, why did you lie to me? You promised you'd wait. Everyone turned to stare at me, their faces full of judgment. Of course, trouble always found me whenever Isabella was around. Shouldn't you be at the hospital with your injured guy best friend? What are you doing here? And for the record, when did I ever say I would wait for you? Isabella was so used to getting her way that once she said something, she treated it as fact. I hadn't said a single word, but in her mind, my silence was an agreement. It was laughable. She completely missed the point, still thinking this was all about my jealousy of Jake. Davis, I'm tired of explaining things about Jake to you. I know you don't like us being so close, so I told him at the hospital that we can't see each other anymore. Look, she said, shoving her phone at me. I even had the studio take down our promotional photos. Can you please just forgive me this once? I didn't even look. Goodbye, Isabella. I gave her a small wave and turned to leave. Her eyes were red, brimming with regret. Davis, please don't go. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I didn't realize until today it was all my fault. I'm the one who can't live without you. You were right. I'm an idiot. I never knew how much I was hurting you. Please, just give me one more chance to make it up to you. I promise I'll repay you for all your kindness. I'll repay you double. It was the first time she had ever begged me for anything. I never thought I'd see the day she would be so humbled. I adjusted the backpack on my shoulder and walked toward my train. I boarded the train, Isabella's desperate shouts echoing behind me. I slept soundly through the night, and when I woke up, we were pulling into Denver. The early morning air was crisp and cold, and I took a deep, clean breath. I stepped out into the unfamiliar city. It felt just like it did all those years ago when I left my small town for Chicago with nothing but a backpack. It was a brand new start.